Ever wondered how JavaScript works behind the scenes? It's all about the JavaScript lifecycle. This essential process is the backbone of how JavaScript code functions. It's a three-part ballet of memory allocation, execution or rendering, and garbage collection. Each phase plays a crucial part in running your code smoothly and efficiently. By delving into this lifecycle, you're setting yourself up to write JavaScript code that's more effective and efficient. Understanding this process can help you write more efficient and effective JavaScript code. When a JavaScript program runs, the first thing it does is memory allocation. This phase is all about preparing for the journey ahead. Just as you'd pack your bag before a trip, JavaScript identifies all the variables and functions it'll need and sets aside memory for them. Think of this like reserving seats on a train. Each variable or function is a passenger, and each needs a seat. In JavaScript's case, the train is a data structure known as the heap. This heap is where all the memory allocation takes place. When a variable is declared, JavaScript goes, "All right, you're coming on this trip, let's find you a seat." And just like that, a piece of memory is allocated in the heap. Functions too get their own reserved spots, ready for when they're called into action. This process continues until every declared variable and function has a designated space in the heap. By the end of this phase, JavaScript has a complete map of the memory it needs to run the program. Once JavaScript has allocated memory, it's time for the execution phase. This is where the magic truly happens. JavaScript begins to execute the code line by line, reading each instruction and performing the specified actions. To manage the execution context, JavaScript uses a mechanism known as the call stack. Think of it as a real-world stack of books. You add one book at a time, and when you want to remove a book, you start from the top. In JavaScript, each function that is called gets placed on top of the call stack. When the function has completed its task, it's removed from the stack, making way for the next function in line. Now you might be wondering, how does JavaScript manage to do so many things at once if it's executing code line by line? Well, that's where the concept of single-threaded comes in. JavaScript is a single-threaded language, meaning it can only process one task at a time. But it doesn't mean it can't handle multiple tasks simultaneously. Here's where the event loop comes into play. The event loop constantly checks if there are any tasks that need to be executed. If there are, it takes the task from the task queue and pushes it onto the call stack to be executed. This is how JavaScript is able to handle asynchronous operations, allowing for a seamless interactive experience. At this point, your JavaScript code has been executed, but we're not finished yet. After JavaScript executes the code, it enters the garbage collection phase. Now you may ask, what's the deal with this phase? Well, imagine it as a big cleaning day for your code, where JavaScript tidies up and ensures everything is in order. Garbage collection is a crucial process that frees up memory that is no longer in use. You see, while using JavaScript, a lot of memory space gets occupied by objects, variables, and other code elements. But not all of these remain useful throughout the execution. This is where the garbage collector steps in. Acting like a meticulous housekeeper, it scours through the memory, identifying and removing objects that are no longer needed. This automatic management of memory helps in keeping your program efficient and prevents it from hogging more memory than necessary. So in essence, the garbage collection phase is JavaScript's way of cleaning up after itself. With garbage collection, JavaScript ensures that your program doesn't consume more memory than necessary. So that's the JavaScript lifecycle in a nutshell. Let's quickly recap the main points. The lifecycle begins with the memory allocation phase, where JavaScript allocates memory for the variables and functions defined in your code. This is like setting the stage for the performance to come. Next, we move on to the execution or rendering phase. This is where the magic happens, as JavaScript executes or renders the code line by line. It's like the main act of our performance, where variables get their values and functions do their tasks. Finally, we come to the garbage collection phase. Here, JavaScript cleans up, freeing up memory that's no longer needed. Think of it as the crew coming in after the show to clean up the stage, making it ready for the next performance. Understanding this process is crucial for writing efficient JavaScript code. It allows you to manage resources wisely and avoid potential performance issues. With this knowledge, you're one step closer to becoming a JavaScript pro. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of programming.